Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Rich Man's Gym podcast. Good to be back. I took a little bit of a sabbatical. Was working a little bit on promotion on my How to Stop Smoking Without Killing Anyone book, but definitely needed to come check in with you guys over here. Reason why is I just completed during the week 72-hour water fast that was sponsored by my good buddy Gary Brecka and my friends over at 10X Health. So I went through it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Made a couple tweaks on it, but I thought I'd like to debrief it. A lot of friends, family, and followers have been asking about, hey, what'd you do? How'd it go? What worked? What didn't work? So I thought I'd just pop in here. Wrote a blog about it over on richmansgym.com and thought I'd just come in here on the podcast and just sort of take you through exactly how it all conspired, what went down, what I did, how I got through it. That way, if you want to try this for yourself, you actually can do it, and I'm here to support you every step of the way. So I'm going to give you the basics right up front. Let's get this out of the way. This might be, if you got a notepad, feel free, but you can also go to richmansgym.com and you can get this entire thing broken down. So here's what we did. Day one, you have your day one of your water fast, 72-hour water fast. Day one, here's what happens. The night before, you got to talk about the day before. You're setting up day one the night before. So you want to have your last meal somewhere around 6, 7 o'clock at night. On day one, we're going to be drinking at least a gallon of spring water throughout the day. You're going to add electrolytes morning, noon, and night as needed. Use hydrogen water if possible. More on that in a little bit. In the morning, take one serving of essential amino acids. Later in the afternoon, take another one. I included some creatine, HMB, and some exogenous ketones to get through the rest of the day. For dinner, I had organic bone broth. I did exercise that day. I went for a good 3-mile ruck. And I did have 16 ounces of organic bone broth after that ruck. And I was sipping black coffee throughout the day. If you're not a coffee person, feel free to go green tea. Decaf for me, though. Made that switch a while ago. That's day one. Day two. Day two is really about getting through it. You want to continue drinking that at least a gallon of spring water throughout the day. Add the electrolytes morning, noon, and night as needed. Again, hydrogen water if it's affordable for you. Later in the afternoon, if you start to feel like you're dragging some ass or you're starting to slow down a little bit, take that serving of creatine and HMB plus exogenous ketones. And I'll tell you where I get my creatine and HMB a little bit later on as well, and where I get my exogenous ketones. Also, sipping that black coffee on the decaf, green tea, still completely okay on day two. In fact, you can do it the whole time. Day three, this is the home stretch. So this is a 72-hour water fast. So you're going to kick into day three. You're going to hit your 72 hours today. So repeat day two right up until you get to break fast somewhere around that 8, 9 o'clock mark during the day. 16 ounces again of organic bone broth to just ease back into things. If after that you are still hungry, then I would suggest some easy to digest protein. Egg would be great right here. Some Greek yogurt, 2%. It's a little bit higher in protein. Cottage cheese, slower to digest, will give you some nutrition to absorb as you sleep. Nothing heavy. This is not the time to take down a ribeye or some Wagyu beef or nothing like that, right? Go light. And then definitely nothing sugary, nothing starchy. Okay. So that's your 3 days in a nut fast. And then on day 4, you can sort of slowly get back into regular eating. If you do intermittent fasting like me, get back on that horse. Okay. So let me give you the details. That's the nuts and the bolts. I just gave you the nuts and the bolts. The details is this. Well, let's just cover the why first. You want me to cover the why? Why'd you do it? Okay, good. Great question. So feel free to research all these benefits on your own, but here's some of the benefits of doing a water fast. Keep in mind, not a doctor, just a guy. So you should always consult with your doctor before embarking on any kind of diet or exercise journey. Your health is yours. Mine is mine. This is what I'm doing. You need to do what you need to do based on your doctor's advice. So 7 key benefits of fasting. First and foremost, autophagy leads to better cellular health. Positive hormonal and metabolic changes can go down. Weight loss, obviously, fat burning due to improved blood sugar regulation, which is one of the motivators for me, lowering your bad cholesterol, decreasing in inflammation, and then reducing risks of major diseases. So again, go do some research. The main reason for me why I did the 72-hour water fast was the metabolic reset. I wanted to get back into ketosis where fat is my body's primary source of fuel, as it was in the beginning. We are all born in ketosis. I didn't know this. This is something I actually learned recently. We are all born in ketosis. And our first diet as babies is keto. Breast milk, water, fat, and protein. Sounds pretty keto to me. So anyway, I've got some body comp goals, and this is how I'm going to get there. Just get back into ketosis. So who started all of this, like this whole fasting thing for me? I've been fasting off and on for years now. And my first introduction to fasting outside of my Catholic upbringing was in a book called The Warrior Diet by a guy named Ori Hofmeckler. And as of late, it's been Gary Brecka. He sort of re-stimulated this fasting idea in my brain. And he's from 10X Health. He's from The Ultimate Human. Go check out 10X Health, richmansgym.com/10X Health for more information on that. Feel free to check out Gary as well. He's got an amazing podcast, The Ultimate Human Podcast. Go check those two things out. We did one in December. We did a 72-hour water fast in December of 2023. And I didn't really understand what was going on. Dana White was bragging about it. I realized I hadn't done one in a long time. Gary starts talking about it. Boom. We have a water fast. I'm in, but I didn't do it right. Kind of did it backwards. I went all day, day one with nothing. And then I started easing into bone broth and it was all backwards. So I didn't have the protocol. So this time around, I had the protocol. I followed the protocol. I made those adjustments that I talked about in a second. We'll go over a little bit deeper in just a minute. So I'm going to talk about now what worked, what didn't, what I'd like to do better next time. So Monday night, got in a good workout. We had some burpees. We did some ring rows. What else did I do? I went for a 2-mile ruck. Like I got out there, I worked out, and then I came home and then I weighed in right after my workout, before dinner, I weighed in at 184 pounds. Had for dinner, ribeye steak and some Brussels sprouts with asparagus for dinner. For dessert, 2% Greek yogurt, and then like some tart cherries. And that was all around in the 8 o'clock hour. So I went to bed. When I got up in the morning, I brewed half a pot of organic, that's important, decaf coffee, and all black, no cream, no sugar, none of it. And I had a glass of hydrogen water mixed with 1 serving of Live Goods essential amino acids. I continued drinking that hydrogen water all day and then sipping that black decaf coffee. In the afternoon, I did have another serving of the EAAs, the essential amino acids, but I did mix in now Live Goods, creatine, and HMB, and some exogenous ketones. Around 4:30, went out and got a 3.6-mile ruck in, about 3 miles. And then after that, I came back. I had 16 ounces of organic beef bone broth for dinner, right? Went to bed around 10:30, felt pretty good, had a mild headache, just a mild one. It wasn't bad. It wasn't debilitating, none of that. Then on Wednesday, so that was Tuesday. Wednesday pops up. I keep going on the hydrogen water with the electrolytes. And I got some other electrolytes, not just from Live Good, but this time I'm using Cardomax, using their electrolytes. Those are pure electrolytes, no aminos in it at all. Today is all about just water and electrolytes. So I'm still sipping my coffee all day. And around 4 o'clock, I went back and I got 1 more serving of the Live Goods creatine HMB with some exogenous ketones. Again, leaving out the essential amino acids this time, just the creatine HMB and the exogenous ketones. The ketones itself, you got beta hydroxybutyrate, and it is attached to magnesium, potassium, sodium, calcium. They're all in there. So you got lots of electrolytes. And also, as the day progressed, to get some variety in there, I started drinking some like sparkling mineral water for just for the variety, like I mentioned. But then also, I mean, the bubbles. Who doesn't like bubbles? I love bubbles. I went to bed around 10:30. So no food, nothing. So if you're wondering, like, what is the deal with creatine and HMB? Creatine and then HMB, I'm not going to try and say the word, but H, M, and B, they all stand for something. And it is a metabolite of the amino acid leucine. So this is going to help preserve and improve muscle mass, recovery, endurance, stamina, sleep, hydration, and brain function. So as you're going through sugar withdrawals, as you're going through functioning with, your body's getting back into ketosis, you may get some brain fog. I took this to eliminate and hopefully prevent some of that. And I think it did. The hydrogen water as well, huge. I'll talk about that and hold on the hydrogen water, but just know that had a huge impact on making this whole thing go better and smoother than the first time. Exogenous ketones. This is a ketone salt blend. I just ran down what those things were. A lot of electrolytes in there. It basically primes the keto pump in your body and helps you transition into ketosis better. and it'll add a little bit of energy. You're already in ketosis, right? Your body's already starting to break down fat for fuel. So I'm just adding the beta hydroxybutyrate to just keep that process going and make that a little bit smoother. Neither of these are going to break your fast unless you're a purist. A purist is going to be like, oh, you consume something. So it is what it is. And if you're a purist, I respect you, right? I'm not there yet. This is how I'm getting there. The thing on the creatine HMB with the exogenous ketones, I got them all non-flavored. They do not taste good. Just know that. And unfortunately, you need to sip these things, because if you slam it, you drink it too fast, it could result in a condition known as disaster pants. You've been warned. Sip it, even though it tastes bad. Day 2 is the hardest day, because whatever glucose you have left, it's gone now. And your body's trying to get back into ketosis. You do feel that. And I'm just, the whole time, just waiting for this thing to kick in. So like I mentioned, I had some brain fog, I had a headache, but that headache was not as bad as it was the first time. I didn't feel like I needed aspirin. And part of that, I really do contribute to drinking the hydrogen water this time around. The way I stayed motivated during day 2, I thought of a couple things. Number one, I kept coming back to my friend David Goggins, and like, if he can endure what he's endured, I'm going to get through day 2. And then I also thought about those crazy people on that TV show, Naked Afraid. I keep reminding myself, my ancestors, this was normal living. And what a luxurious, this is what I thought about on day 2. What a luxurious first world problem it is for you and I to be able to not deny ourselves food with full knowledge that you can eat at any time you want. And that, my friends, is not the reality in any way, shape, or form for a lot of people throughout history and right now. So just something to think about. So be grateful that you can actually fast willingly. Okay, Thursday, the home stretch. So we're going to repeat day 2. Good news, though, the headache was gone. And I had way more energy. And I was officially in ketosis, and I knew it. I felt very clear mentally, very confident, and good, solid energy. Around 9 o'clock, I'm at the 72-hour mark. So I broke that fast. I had 16 ounces of bone broth, which I mentioned earlier, ate 2 hard-boiled eggs, had probably about 4 to 6 ounces of some whole fat cottage, 2% cottage cheese. Weighed myself before I ate, weighed myself in at 179. So I lost 5 pounds during that. Not bad, right? Aftermath. Now what? Now what do we do? Now what are we going to do? So we now return you to your regularly scheduled intermittent fasting with a side of keto. That is what I'm doing next. For me moving forward, definitely going to be focused on a daily 16-hour intermittent fast. I'll probably take Sundays off on that. But for the most part, Monday through Saturday, 16-hour intermittent fast. When I do eat, it's going to be a modified version, paleo, keto leaning sort of style of eating. A lot of healthy fats, a lot of organic meats. Those will take the main priority. High fiber vegetables, small amounts of low glycemic fruits, fermented dairy only, roots, starch, sugar, super rare. Super rare. Anything overtly processed, just a big fat no. Even the like the keto friendly stuff, no, I don't like. There's this keto friendly mac and cheese that can't be natural. It just can't, and it can't be good for you. It looked really interesting and it looked delicious, right? But there's just no way that's natural. I haven't researched or read the back of the box, but I was looking at, I'm like, no way. So it's just anything that's like overly processed, just because the marketing says it's healthy for you does not mean that it is, right? So anything overly processed, just no. So my current target is I do want to get down to 175 pounds on the scale, with the ultimate goal. That's the next one. The ultimate goal is getting just below 170, but with single digit body fat. So that means I'm going to need to put on a little bit more muscle and definitely trim down on the fats. So if I can walk around like that, here's the good news, is that if ever like Dana White needs somebody to come in at lightweight, I'll be ready to go. As if I'll just run around the octagon, and for 15 minutes. I got good cardio. So next time I do this, though, here's a couple things that I want to make sure that I do. I want to see if I can get into day 4. So instead of 72 hours, let me take it into well into day 4, maybe all the way up, get 4 days in on this thing. And I would also like to incorporate or see if I can mimic some more of this hunter-gatherer lifestyle. Well, I was joking about naked and afraid. You think about, like, how did our ancestors function in a Paleolithic life, or even, 300 or 400 years ago? Heck, even going from the east to the west in the United States, you're not eating all the time. There is no breakfast. There's not much. Maybe there's lunch. You're going to have dinner, right? This is one of the things I got out of the warrior diet. So that's not the norm. I would like to spend more time actively working while being hungry or in a fasted state. That's movement. So maybe I'll do a little bit more rucking. Maybe I'll do some light stretching and calisthenics, like yoga, things like that. But the idea of walking around with weight is very powerful across the board. But imagine doing that completely fasted, because that is what our ancestors did, and they survived, because here we are. So thank you so much for getting through this. If you have questions for me about any of this, please feel free to reach out. I do want to answer before I bounce out of here, though. Leave a message and leave some comments below. Shoot me a message if you need to. So if you like more information on 10X Health, just go over to richmansgym.com/10X Health. And you can get everything you need to know about there. They do precision genetic tests right now. They just started this right now, where you can learn exactly what kind of nutrition and what kind of workouts your body was designed for, based on your genes. What's going to work best for you, diet, nutrition, and exercise wise. So go check out richmansgym.com/10X Health. The next thing, hydrogen water. What is it? Where do you get it? Why is it helpful? You want more information on hydrogen water? Head over to richmansgym.com/hydrogen. It's richmansgym.com/hydrogen. You get more information about that right there. And so the amino acids that I take, the essential aminos I take, the creatine that I take, both of those I get from a company called Live Good. They just launched a brand new whey protein, which is delicious. It's chocolate. richmansgym.com/live good. Now, I get my exogenous ketones currently off of Amazon.com. There's lots of different choices over there. I prefer the non-flavored one. In fact, the company that I get it from is called, hold on, it's almost there, NutriCost. And so you got, again, I mentioned before, it's ketone salts. So you're going to get it with magnesium, sodium, potassium, and calcium. So those are all great electrolytes, and they got the beta hydroxybutyrate attached to all of those. Again, if you have questions, drop a comment below. Thank you so much for watching. This has been richmansgym.com 72-hour water fast debrief. My name's David Bradley. Thank you again for being here, and I'll talk to you again real soon.